Hello everybody and welcome to the trip that I'm in the midst of, going north up to the Yukon Territory in northern Canada. So far it's been a wonderful trip and hit and miss taking video. I put together a bit of a chronological storyline about the trip so far. So I'm going to start by sharing some maps with you as to where I'm actually going, and then I'm going to launch into the first number of days till I hit a milestone. So please come along and join me on this trip. I'm having a great time. Milo's with me, my little dog. I would say that we're doing really well for two reasons. One, I've never driven on a big road trip like this by myself. And Milo, of course, is from Korea, and I can guarantee he's never done a trip like this. So we've got two newbies. I do feel like I'm doing okay, and I feel like he's doing okay as well. But there's been lots of challenges as far as adjusting to this whole new way of being. So come along and join us. I've been really looking forward to sharing the little bits and pieces that I have been able to film so far. I know many of you viewers are not from North America, so I thought I'd give you a bit of an outline on a bit of a geography lesson. So here's North America. Canada is in the northern part, with the United States and Mexico to the south of us, and Alaska, which is part of the USA, to the north on the west side, and on the east side is the country of Greenland. I live on the west coast on the little pink dot, Vancouver Island, and I'm planning to go to the Yukon Territory, which is far north of where I live. The route I'm planning to take starts where I am right now at Nanaimo, where I'm going to cross the Strait of Georgia on a 2-hour ferry trip to east of Vancouver, where I'm going to start my trek up to the north. And gradually I'm going to wind my way up to the Prince George area. Then I'll travel west and then north up to the border of British Columbia, which is my province, and Yukon, which is the territory north of us. Once up in the Yukon, passing the border, I will be heading towards Whitehorse, possibly with a detour here and there along the way. And then my hope is to get up to Dawson City, which is an old gold rush town, which really opened up the Yukon many, many years ago. So that's more or less my plan. Well, I just heard the first call for boarding, so I'm going to cut this off now, and I'll meet you back on the ferry.
Accessing the stairwell. Guide and service dogs are permitted in all passenger areas of the vessel.
Well, after getting off the boat, I drove through the busy outskirts of Vancouver and up and over the Coquihalla Highway of elevation over 4,000 feet. Then descended to Merritt in the Nicola Valley. Taking some side roads, I wound my way up the hills towards Logan Lake for a peaceful and comfortable night of rest. The following morning, I packed up pretty early and we headed out west, then turned north. We stopped for a long break at Lac La Hache. It was great there, and Milo and I both got out for a well-needed walk. And we finally were resting at 10 Mile Lake for the night. After setting up camp and walking the dog, of course, it was time to make a really good dinner, so I put together a stir fry with some rice and shrimp and some fresh vegetables, and boy, did that go down well. I was really, really ready for a good meal, and I enjoyed every single bite of it. And then after that, it was time for another dog walk down by the lake with Milo, and then off to bed. I've been finding that my days have worked best if I get up about 6:30 in the morning and walk the dog, have breakfast, and then get on the road by 8:15. and then try to get to a campsite by about between 2 and 3 o'clock. I get a good site generally, and then I get to enjoy where I am. I find all this driving is quite tiring, but I'm managing fine. But I find that this system is working best for me. Well, good morning, everyone, and here we are again. It's day 3 of this adventure to the north. So today we're heading up north to Prince George. I think it's 130 kilometers approximately. And then at Prince George we turn west and we start heading out towards the Pacific Ocean, which is quite a few hundred kilometers away. But we're heading out to a town called Vanderhoof, and from Vanderhoof I've decided it's such a nice day, I do want to go up to see Fort St. James, so we will turn north there, do a detour, and that should be quite interesting, and I think we'll end up spending the night there. Well, we've reached Fort St. James, and it's a blustery afternoon and it's cloudy, but it's not raining. So we're at the Visitors Center. This is a National Historic Park, and it was the site of one of the first trading companies. I think it was in the early 1800s. Well, I'm now at the fur warehouse, and according to the information, it says that this group of log buildings is the largest group of original log buildings representing the fur trade in Canada. And it says here that this general warehouse and fur store was built in 1888 or to 1889. So it's pretty old. And this is where the furs that were traded with mostly First Nations, and I think they're a carrier group of First Nations, were stored and before they were shipped down to Victoria.
So they will actually trade the furs for any other goods. They call it made beaver.
The lady was explaining that a made beaver means beaver that is ready to ship. It's been turned into a hide, a usable hide. And so you could buy a blanket for 6 made beaver pelts. Well, the thing is that everything was in favor of the company, the Northwest Trading Company it was called. The people here were completely and utterly at the mercy of the trading company, as well as bringing them lots of diseases and illnesses, and killed off many of the Aboriginal people here. They actually owned the store and all the goods, and they were the only store in town. So if you wanted to sell your pelts, you had to do it here. Well, this has been quite the day. I'm happy to say I'm very pleased with this campsite. I've just made myself a great dinner. Maybe not everybody's idea of a good dinner, but there's a little tin of some tuna and a big salad, and I'm going to eat this up. I'm going to enjoy it. All right, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to get a good sleep and have not too much on the go for tomorrow. Woke this morning to a reasonable day. The rain started in, but what can you do about the rain? So I moved along the highway to Smithers. At Smithers, I found a municipal campsite which was right on the Buckley River, and I spent an absolutely great night. The rain let up and I enjoyed a great dinner and a quiet evening. Well, this looks pretty good. And the good thing about it is that there's enough left for tomorrow. So tomorrow night's dinner is pretty much assured. Oh, that's really, really yummy. Are you ready, Milo? Let's go. From Smithers, I continued west, stopping at Witsat. This is a centuries-old First Nations site where the people have traditionally trapped and caught salmon in this narrow canyon. It was amazing to watch as I was there because there was one person catching some fish, but I couldn't actually catch it on my camera. I then moved along to Hazelton and the historic village of Kisan. After crossing the, I'm going to say this, Higwilget Canyon of the Buckley River, I went over a one-lane suspension bridge which crosses the canyon at 262 feet above the river. It was quite a sight. Then traveled down the road to the Kisan village, which is a Gitsan replica of a village, of villages which have stood on this site for many hundreds of years. It was really a stop worth taking, and I very much enjoyed it. After continuing further west, I took the turn that I'd been waiting for, and that was at Kitwanga, where I moved from going west to again turning north up the Stewart-Cassiar Highway towards the Yukon. I pulled into the beautiful Meziandan Provincial Park, found a lakeside campsite, enjoyed my visit there, and had a great rest. The next morning, we woke up, got back on the road, and of course it was showering again. We stopped at Kanaskan Lake Provincial Park for a quick lunch, but it was so cold we couldn't stay. As we drove further north, we went past some of the most gorgeous wetlands. I just loved seeing them. They're so different than anything at the coast. And then we arrived at Boya Lake Provincial Park for the night. Well, welcome to Boya Lake. This is a gorgeous provincial park, and hopefully if it clears you'll be able to see the beautiful colors. But anyway, it's not pouring. After we left Kanaskan Lake, it just came down in buckets. So it was a good day to travel. I'm not sure exactly how many kilometers we came today, but it was well over 500. And Milo and I are both equally as glad to get out of the van. So we've got this great lakeside campsite. I just backed in and set up Milo's bed and got his food going for him. And I've put the canopy out. And now I'm just going to get my chair and just relax and then take Milo for a bigger, longer walk. So I hope we have a good evening here, and I hope the skies will clear, because we missed so much with that drive today, with those clouds being low and going through all those mountains, and we hardly saw anything. But anyway, we may see it on the way back. So one day at a time. This is just the beginning. Well, the rain is busy trying to put out the barbecue. So I've moved it under the canopy, and I have no idea if it's going to work or not. It seems to be struggling. Well, there's always a frying pan in the van. If this doesn't work out, I'll eat regardless. So, but I'm going to give this a little go and let it smoke away out here and see if I can get it cooked through. Looks like it's burning. Anyway, let's see what's happening. Oh no. Whoa. That looks pretty darn good. Well, it's done. It's cooked right through. So I'm just going to leave that to burn off, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to eat inside because Milo's in there, and I'm going to eat in there. Yeah, this rain is incessant, but it's not that cold and there's no wind. All right, we're trying to look on the bright side. Some days it's a lot of work. That's a really bonus deluxe burger. Oh, it's gonna fall over. Let's just squash it down and give it a go. That's just delicious. So I'm just gonna, work my way through this in private. And Milo's just climbed up on the bed beside me, so he's happy just to be in out of the rain, I think. So I'm just going to enjoy this, and I'll see you after dinner. Well, we had a good walk, and wasn't the lake beautiful? You can see all those little fish in the water. It was gorgeous. So yes, I've got a empty dog and a happy me, and I'm going to go in and read my book and just relax. I've had a full day, and I think we've both had our dinner, we've both had a good walk, and I think I'm going to sleep really well. And there's no big rush tomorrow because we're not going so far. So I won't have to get up, set the alarm, do all the early stuff. No, it's a much more leisurely start, and about half the number of kilometers, I think, tomorrow. All right, good night. Good morning, everybody. Here we are on day 7. I just pulled out of the campsite at Boyle Lake. It poured all night, really hard, but it's gradually letting up. I have no idea what the forecast is going to be, but today we should be getting into the Yukon. And I think we have approximately 100 kilometers to go before the BC-Yukon border. And we're all set to go. I am not sure where we're going to end up. The weather's going to be a factor. And we had a long day yesterday. It's quite a long ways to Whitehorse and or to Atlin, I think. But anyway, it's going to become apparent what we're going to do as we go. I'm just about ready to have a day off somewhere. It'd be kind of nice to be somewhere where I could have a plug-in and maybe some Wi-Fi. We made it. Milo and I made it to the Yukon. Yes. We just crossed the border. Oh, that's an accomplishment. Stay Milo. Okay. There's Milo celebrating. I think what Milo's celebrating is he's out of the van. He doesn't care where we are, as long as he's out. Anyway, we made it. We made it here. So we're just going to have a tiny break while we're here. I'll walk him around a bit, and then we will be joining the Alaska Highway very soon and heading west towards Whitehorse or wherever else we're going to go. And I still haven't got any cell service, so I want to check the weather. But right now, we're just going to enjoy this sign. So that's quite an accomplishment. It's over 22,000 kilometers for sure. I have it, I've been recording my mileage as I go, so I'll look. But I think it's about 22 or 2,300 kilometers. And that's a lot of driving. And Milo has, yeah, he's doing quite well today. So, you know, he is adjusting. I keep saying that every day, don't I? Every day gets a little bit better for Milo. So he's being a good boy. All right. I'm pretty happy, like you can tell.